Now is the angel mom the president just referenced, Patty Morin, mother of Rachel Morin. Patty, thank you so much for being here. What do you make of your senator, Van Hollen, flying down to El Salvador and having aperitifs with this Kilmar Abrego Garcia character?
It just shows his character. You know a man by the words that he speaks, but also by his actions or lack of actions. And he had no interaction with either Kayla Hamilton and Tammy Nobles, the mom of the girl that was murdered here in Aberdeen. And he's had no interaction with me concerning my daughter, Rachel. But yet he uses my taxpayer money to fly to El Salvador to advocate for a criminal, and a criminal as in he's here illegally, so he's already broken federal law by being in the country illegally. He's broken state law, and violated state law by abusing his wife, and yet the senator, instead of advocating for the victims of horrific, brutal crimes by illegal immigrants, he goes to El Salvador to advocate for a criminal.
Patty, we've repeatedly asked, and thus far Van Hollen's office refuses to say who paid for that visit. But look, that's a lot of frequent flyer miles for a guy who's not even a real constituent. And I was going to ask you, and you already answered this, you know, I can't believe that your senator has not reached out. I know he commented the other day, your daughter, God bless, she got a little bit of justice. Her killer was finally convicted, and he issued a statement. But he's never called you. He's never reached out to you or the family.
Nope.
It's outrageous.
No. The only Democrat that has reached out to me is, that was poor English there. I can hear my son saying, Mom, that's not proper grammar. Was Governor Westmore. After President Trump reached out, Governor Westmore called just to give his condolences. And when I was at the Senate Judiciary hearing that was led by the Democrats, when we first started the hearing, they all gave their condolences, but then that was the last of the conversation for the whole hearing.
Wow. Would you take a call from Van Hollen if he called you now?
I would be gracious and take the call. I don't know that it would make a difference.
Yeah. I
think if he did make the effort to call, it would just be like a political stunt to say he did it.
Patty, I want to play a bite.
Because he's had...
Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was going to say, because he's had 10 months, almost a year, to reach out, and he hasn't. So if he does it now, it's like too little, too late.
Yeah, but he's happy to jump on a plane for some guy who's not even a real constituent. But I want to play a bite from another Democrat, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. He wants the court to sanction the Trump White House and set up essentially a government GoFundMe account for Abrego Garcia. Watch this.
Here's a hypothetical result. The judge says this was outrageous, so I'm going to put the government under a civil contempt sanction of $1 million a day until he comes back. So there you go. Add up the millions. Oh, and by the way, I'll consider awarding some of that to the victim if this isn't solved quickly.
Your reaction to that, Patty? They want taxpayers to pay for gang members. What about victim compensation?
Yeah, personally, our family has not received victim compensations, monetarily wise, but he wants to take my taxpayer money and pay a known illegal immigrant who has broken federal law and state law. He wants to reward them by giving them millions of dollars of American taxpayer money. And if he does come back here to America, he's been living here illegally for over a decade. He's just going to get sent out of the country again.
Yeah. Patty,
so that is outrageous.
I agree. Patty, the Democratic leader of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, was asked about your appearance at the White House. Watch this.
We deeply sympathize with any American any individual who has experienced a loss of life of a loved one. But I think it's also important to zoom out and be very clear that violent felons here unlawfully should be deported. At the same period of time, we are going to defend dreamers and farm workers and law-abiding immigrant families.
Your response to that, Patty?
Are those law-abiding dreamers? Are they here legally or illegally? He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't
Good
differentiate
question.
between the two.
It's a good question. Well,
It
Patty,
should be.
go ahead.
I was going to say, if they're illegal, which we already know there's at least 20 million in our country over the last few years, 4 years, 20 million that have come here illegally, for the simple fact that it's illegal, that they have violated federal law, they should be deported back to their countries.
Yeah.
I have so many people. I had someone come up to me today, a husband and a wife, had heard, my testimony and my statement that I made, and they thanked me. They said, because of the Democrats allowing all these violent illegal immigrants into the country, the ones that are here legally are suffering because the American people look at all immigrants as bad. And that's not what the White House wants. The White House wants to get rid of the criminals. And the Democrats are, they're just...
It's a ridiculous political hill to die on, I have to say. And we're going to discuss that further. But Patty,
Yes.
our thoughts are with you. God rest Rachel's soul, particularly during this Holy Week as we move toward Easter. And, I pray for consolation for your family and that you'll be comforted in these days.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for joining us. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.